Hello, it's Sean. Today I'm going to be playing a game of Conflict of Heroes, Awakening the Bear. This is published by Academy Games. It's a game set in World War II. You control individual squads and vehicles. This one is set in the Eastern Front, so it is German versus Russians. There are some really good tutorials out there on this game. Derek Case of Single-Handed Warfare has a really good nuts and bolts video, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. That teaches all the basic rules of Conflict of Heroes. The two-player version, I'm actually going to be using the solo expansion, so I can play this against myself. I'm playing the solo mission number 1, Search and Destroy. And I'll kind of walk through how that works as I play through it. I've set up the board here. You can see we have some Germans in this town, and we have some Russian troops in the outskirts. The mission is July 12th, 1941. Soviet partisans have been harassing German supply wagons in an attempt to root out local combatants. A platoon of German trackers are searching a nearby abandoned Soviet village for the partisans and weapons stockpiles. With the first knock on a door, gunfire erupts from the surrounding woods. The partisans must eliminate the elite German patrol before they locate the partisans' base of operations. So, I will be in control of the Soviet players, Soviet forces. I have 4 caps. The Germans start with 1 victory point advantage, and we have action cards 2 through 5, and I'll get 1 action card and then receive 1 each round thereafter. The order cards are 15 through 55, and as I said, the units are placed on the board. We have 3 Soviet rifles and 1 Soviet submachine gun platoon. And then there are 3 German rifle platoons and a half-track. I have removed card 55 from the order deck just to make it simpler, easier on me. The difference in this game from the 2 players, obviously it's solo. These action cards or order cards will give you a list of different options for the unit as they activate. They also dictate spent checks. So, on this card, when you, anytime I take an action, I'm going to flip a card and I'm going to look and see if it has the action points it costs for the action that unit just did. If it's equal to or greater than this number, that unit is going to be spent. Unlike the base game where you either have 7 AP action points or you roll 2d6 and take that many action points. You don't use that in the solo system. It goes the same for the opponent. Whatever action this card dictates that unit does, you then flip the next card to see if it is spent based on however many action points it costs to do that action. So we'll get started. The Soviet forces have the initiative on round 1. And I get 1 of these action cards. So rapid deployment is the action card that I have. Move a friendly unit 2 hexes over passable terrain. So that lets the unit move fairly quickly, and we'll see if I can use that to good effect in the game. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and activate this rifle unit, and they're going to fire on this German rifle unit. You can see it costs 4 action points to do the fire action. He has an attack value of 3. I'm shooting into the front arc of this unit, but they are in the open. So his defensive value right now is 12. So I'm going to roll 2 dice. I'm going to add 3 to it, and I need to get a 12 or better. So I need a 9 on this die roll, and I missed. So I'm going to take a spent check to see if my unit is spent, and it is if 3 or better here at the bottom of the card, and I used 4 action points for that, so that unit is spent. Now it is the German player's turn to activate. I'm going to draw a card, and we're going to go down the card to see what it does. So there's nothing up here. There's lots of times there'll be things that tell you to move the turn tracker, which nothing activates there. If any AI unit is in a close combat hex, you would follow that. If they're in short range hex, you would go through that. If fresh AI is less than or equal to fresh units, the AI passes. So there are 4 fresh AI, and I have 3 fresh units. So that is not the case. So the AI does not pass. The highest firepower AI, farthest from the lowest defense value. So highest firepower, we have 2, 2, 2, and 3. So this unit has the highest firepower. It's furthest from the lowest defensive value. So here our defensive value is 12, 12, 12, and 12. So everybody has the same defensive value. So that's equal. So it's the furthest. But that's the only one that can go, so he's going to activate. He's going to fire, and he has +1 cap, which means he's going to get a +1 to his die roll. So this is the target he's going to shoot at. And their defensive value is 12, but they're in heavy woods, so it's going to go to 14. He has a 3 firepower, which means he actually is going to need an 11 to hit, and the AI will not attack if it needs an 11 or a 12 to hit. So that AI is not going to do that order. Unhit AI closest to a unit that just acted. The unit that just acted is this. So this is the unhit AI closest to that unit, and it is going to fire. And we have the same issue though. It's in a heavy wood, so its defensive value is 14. He only has a 2, so he actually needs a 12, so he is not going to fire. Next is the unhit AI closest to a unit that just acted, or a mission objective. So the mission objective is control points, or the unit that just acted. That control point is in German hands, so I'm not going to consider that a point that it's going to move towards. So the AI unit closest to the unit that just acted is going to be this guy. He's going to do a move toward. Yeah, he's going to do a move towards, so he is just going to step forward right there. And so his movement only cost 1 point. That's what it cost for that infantry unit to move. He did not move into terrain, so his spent check is going to be on a 1 or higher. And so we'll draw, and it was a 1 or higher. So he is actually spent. It is now my turn to act. I have this nice juicy unit right in front of me that I'm going to shoot at. I'm going to spend all 4 of my action points to fire on this guy. When you're in short range, you get a +3 to your firepower. So my firepower is now 6. This unit has a defense of 12. So I only need a 6 or better to hit him. And I got a 7, so that does hit. And I'm going to draw a damage token. And when you draw this out, try not to look at it, and you stick it under that unit. You can look at it, but I like to wait until that unit is doing something so I don't know if it's good, bad, or indifferent. I might have just killed that unit. It might have been no effect, but I'm not going to flip that over until it has either I'm shooting at it again or it's about to act again. So I use cap points for that action, so I don't need to make a spent check, and I'm already spent. So next up, the German player is going to activate. So the cards with the green borders can be used to activate unspent units. There are cards with blue borders that can be used to activate spent units. And if I draw one of them, there's a good chance this guy will activate. But right now he's not eligible because he is spent. So unless I draw a blue border card, that unit's not going to activate. So I don't have anybody in close range. I don't have anybody in short range. The hit AI closest to a unit, I only have one unit hit, and he is not, or he is spent, so he won't activate. The highest firepower AI closest to a unit that just acted. So this is still the highest firepower unit. This is the unit that just acted. So this unit is going to fire. And he's going to fire at the best target he has available. He's not going to fire at the unit that just acted. So his best target is this unit. But we're back to that. We're in heavy cover. He has a 14. His modifier is +3. So he needs a well, he needs an 11, but he has a +1 cap, which means he'll only need a 10. So he will take that shot with needing a 10 to hit. And he got a 3, so that is a miss. And his fire costs 2, so we're going to make a spent check, and he is fine. He is not spent. It is my turn to act again. I am going to activate this unit. It is going to fire upon this rifle unit here. My firepower is 3. It has a defense of 12. I'm still shooting into, actually not, I'm shooting into its flank, because this is his front. So I'm shooting into his flank, so his defense is only 11. So I need 11, and I have a +3 to the die roll. I got a 7 +3. It's going to be a 10, which means I do hit him. No, I don't. I did not hit. 7 +3 is only 10. I need an 11. I missed. So I'm going to take a spend check. And a 3 or better. He is spent because it costs 4 action points to fire. And now it's the German player's turn again. So nobody is in close combat. Nobody is in short range combat. AI closest to the lowest defense value unit fires. So he's in hard cover. He's in light cover. He's in hard. So right now his defense value is 13, and that is the lowest defensive value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the closest unit. But again, he's going to fire. He's going to fire at this guy. His defensive value is 14 with a 3. He needs an 11, so he's not going to fire at him. So we're going to go down the list. Unhit AI closest to a spent unit makes a low risk move towards. So unhit AI closest to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is the unit that is closest to, and he's going to make a low risk move toward. So both these are equal distance away, and the move is going to be the same either way, because he wants to get closer to the unit, but he doesn't want to move into a fire arc, and he doesn't want to move into a lower damage reduction modifier. So right now he's in the open, so he's going to turn and move into this space because that's a building and it's going to give him some cover, and it is closer to those units. So that is 2 action points. 1, and he turned around as part of that. He didn't move into his front flank or front arc, so he is gonna make a spent check on a 2 or higher. and he is not spent. Back to me. I'm going to activate this unit. He's going to make a move action. He's going to move here. He's out of the line of fire from that, just in case that gets activated. He won't be exposed there because this building blocks the line of sight. So that was one action point, so he's going to make a spent check, and he is okay. Back to the German turn. If AI plus units is less than 4. So when you count this up, you count up all the AI units and all your units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 units, so that we're not less than 4. If we were, we would move the turn tracker. Once that's done, you move down. There is no close range fire, or close combat. There is no short range fire. We're going to execute counteractions. So the order for counteractions for this particular mission, and counteractions and mission orders are specific to the mission that you're playing, and it's detailed on the sheet. So the counteraction in this case is if no unit just fired, AI closest to a spent unit moves towards. So there was nobody that just fired because this unit moved. So the AI closest to a spent unit, I have 2 spent units, and 1, 2, 1, 2. They're both equal distance, so I'm going to roll to see which one it's going to move toward. That's not a low risk move, so we can go either way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. So he's going to move towards this unit, and he's just going to step forward there. So that is 2 action points to make that move, I believe. I think moving into heavy woods is still just +1. Let me make sure. Yep, moving into heavy woods is a 1 action point. So he's going to make a spent check on a 2 or better, and that he is fine. My turn again. That is kind of scary right now. He's going to be able to activate, and he's probably going to be shooting at me, but there's not really much I can do about it at this point. So this unit is going to make a move again, and that's 1 action point. Take a spent check, and I'm fine. Now we're going to activate the Germans again. If AI plus units is less than 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So still have well more than that. So we're not going to do anything there. So now, if they're in close combat, they're going to fire or disengage. Don't have that problem. But we do have short range, so they're going to fire. So I'm in heavy woods, so my defense right now is 12. He has a firepower of 2, and he's in short range, so he's going to get a +3 to that. So he has a 5, and he's shooting for a 14, so he needs a 9 to hit. And he got an 8, so he missed. That was 3 action points to do that. So we're going to make a spent check for him. And he is spent. Lucky me. Because he could have just really dumped a lot of fire into me. It's my turn to activate again. I'm going to move this gentleman into this building. So that is moving into wood buildings is +1 AP. So 2 AP is what he spent, and he is okay. It's time for the Germans to activate. There is no close range fire. There is no short range fire because both those units are spent. Execute counteractions. So if no unit just fired, the AI closest to a spent unit is going to make a move toward. So this unit moved. No, there was no fire on my turn. So the AI closest to a spent unit And it would be unspent AI. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And neither of these are spent. So this is going to be the unit that activates. And he's going to do a move toward. This is the closest. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, let me see where he needs to move. So there's a whole flowchart helping determine who's moving and who's firing and what their targets are. So you're going to move toward the closest eligible target. And if there are more, so these are both eligible, so we're going to randomly choose. It won't matter actually because he's going to move right here, which is going to be the same distance away. So he's going to move here and he's going to turn to face so that he is only, or both units are in his front facing. And that is in a building, so he is going to make a spent check on a 2. And he is spent. And now it is my turn to activate. So if I make a fire action there, he's in a building, which is going to improve his one. His defensive modifier is 1, so his defense will go to 13 if I fire at him. I'm +3, so I would need a 10 to hit. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to attack here with needing a 10. Of course, he is spent. I could move up and have a big bonus. I'm going to move. This unit is going to move here so that it's 1 AP. And I'm not spent. And now it is the Germans' turn to activate. There's nobody within close, nobody within short. Hit AI closest to a unit. Well, there's no hit AI that's unspent, so that's not going to happen. Highest fire AI closest to a hit unit. I don't have any hit units, so we're going to skip that. Unhit AI closest to a target. So that's this unit because that's the only unspent AI unit, and it's also unhit. So he is going to move towards. So he is going to move there. And that is 2. So we're going to make a spent check on him, and that is a 2, so he is spent. I just got real lucky there. And he actually came up to me, so that's going to give me a little bit better chance if I try to shoot at him. Not a lot better, but a little better. So now I have to decide what I want to do. If I want to attack that vehicle, I have to use my... you have 2 attack values. You have the top number is red and the bottom one is blue. The blue is versus armored. So I have no bonuses against that, but I do have a +3 because I'm in close range. So I'm going to need a 10 to hit him from where I'm at right now. I could move on top of him, then I get a +4 to hit him. But that is dangerous because he will have just as good to hit me. I could try to move to his flank, but that would take 2 turns of movement to get there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and attack. I need a 10 or better to hit his 13 value. Oh, so close. I got a 9, so that's a miss. So we're going to take a spent check, and that was 3. And I'm okay. So now all of the German units are spent, so hopefully I don't draw a blue card. If AI plus units is less than 10, plus 1 to the turn tracker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to move the turn tracker up, and as part of that, we're going to do whatever is in that space. In this case, we have some sniper fire. We're going to roll a d6 and look at the table. I've actually already used all of my caps, so that is not going to have an effect because I cannot lose any more cap for this turn. But the mission tracker did advance. Once you get to 12, the turn's over. So then it's just determined by who is the winner. So because this is a green card, everybody is already spent. AI cannot actually do any of these. So if you can't activate anything or can't carry out any of the orders on the card, then the AI passes. So the AI is going to pass. I can pass too if I want, and then the turn ends and I get to draw a new card and we can go ahead and move some stuff. Everything goes back unspent. But I have 2 unspent units, so I don't want the turn to end at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and activate again. I'm going to use this card. The rapid deployment lets me move a unit 2 hexes over passable terrain. And this has a 0 cost for AP and cap, so I'm not going to have to make a spent check. So I'm going to go 1, 2. And what that's going to do is put me in the flank of this unit so that I have a little bit better chance of attacking it. And I don't need to make a spent check. So it's the German player's turn. And they get a blue card. So what that means is they can, basically like me using my caps, they get to activate a unit and not spend caps. So a spent unit gets to activate. So first, we're going to do a close range fire. There is nobody in close range, but we do have some short range fire. This unit isn't eligible because he's in the flank, so that unit is not going to attack. These 2 units, however, both have a target within their front flank, so there it's going to be one of them that activates. So it's going to be whichever one has the highest firepower, I believe. All right, so choosing, so first you use an unhit unit, which this unit's unhit, so he's going to be activated to make this attack. So he has a firepower of 2. The target has a defense of 12, but he's in heavy wood, so he has a 14, which means normally, and they're in close range. So we need, he has a +3, so 2 + 3 is 5 against the 14, so he needs a 9 to hit. And he got a 9. So I'm going to draw a chit, and I'm going to look at this one because this is my unit, and I know how bad my unit is damaged. And my unit is pinned, which means it can't move. As you set this, the different effects on the token here affects what it would be under when you set it on top. So this unit cannot move. It can still fire, it can still defend just as good, but it cannot move. And then if I try to rally, I need a 7 or higher in order to remove that token. Anytime any unit gets 2 damage tokens, it's automatically destroyed. So there is no spent check because that unit used a command order. So it's back to me. I'm going to try to activate this unit. He's going to be firing here. So I get a +3, but now I'm firing against an armor of 12 because I'm shooting at his flank. So I need a 9 or better to hit that, and I missed. And it's a 3 for the spent check. That's a 1 or better, so I am spent. And And now we're back to the German turn. So we're going to move the turn tracker 1 space. The mission track, excuse me, not turn track. The mission track 1 space. All of the units are spent, so they're going to pass. I'm going to make a move with this unit. It's going to move there. And that is 1 AP. And I am not spent. Now we're going to take the German turn. Another green card, everybody spent, so they're going to pass. I'm going to make another move. I'm going to move here. And that is going to be 2 APs because I moved into a building. And I am spent. Boo. Hoping to get the flank on that unit and at least get a shot off, but I failed. So, German turn. If AI plus units is 4 or less, they're not. So we're not going to move the mission tracker. All the units are spent, so the AI is going to pass. All my units are spent now, so I'm also going to pass. So that is going to be the end of the round. So at the end of the round, move the cap back up to where it was for me. So I have 4 AP. I'm going to draw a card. And I get to attempt a rally. That's not in close combat. And that's going to be free. It takes an action, but it doesn't cost any points to do it. We're going to shuffle these decks back together. And we're going to flip all the units back to their unspent sides. And we're about to see some real good fireworks here because there's going to be a lot going on here with a lot of close combat options available right away. We're going to roll for initiative. I have to get an 8 or better on the die roll for me to have the initiative. I can use up to 2 caps to improve my roll. I'm not going to do that, so I'm just going to roll, and I need an 8 or better. Otherwise, the AI gets to go first. I got a 2, so the AI is going to go first. And we'll see what their order is. So there is no close combat. We do have short range combat. So this unit is unhit, so he's going to take that activation. He is going to fire on this unit. So he starts with firepower of 2. It gets a +3 because he is in short range. So he's +5, and he needs a 14 to hit. So he needs a 9. And he got an 8, so that is a miss. Thankfully, he needs to make a spent check, and it costs 3 action points to make that attack, and he got a 5 or higher, so he is fine. So now my turn to take an activation, and I'm going to have this unit fire on him. I have a 3 firepower plus 3 for the close range. Actually, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to fire on this guy because he's already hit and I want to knock a unit out if I can. So I'm firing on him, and he's not in terrain either. So this unit is suppressed, which has no effect on his defense. So I have a firepower of 3 +3 because I'm in short range, and I'm firing against a 12. So I have a 6 plus the die roll, and I need to get a 12. So if I get a 6 or better, and I didn't, so I missed him. I need to make a spend check, and it costs 4 action points to make that attack. And I'm spent. It's not going my way right now. It's now the AI's turn to activate. They have a command order, so this could be used on a spent unit. There are no spent units, so it'll just go on whoever. Again, we have a close range fire first. There is nobody. We have short range fire, which again is going to get be this unit activating because he is unhit. So he is going to make his attack against this unit, and he needs a 14. He has a +5 to make that attack. So he needs a 9 or better. And he got it. So I'm going to take another damage token. I'm pinned again. Anytime you have 2, you are destroyed. So that is going to give the German player an additional victory point because he just knocked my unit out. And these tokens go back into my random draw bag. And that was a blue bordered command card. So I do not need to make a spent check for the German unit. My turn again. This guy here is going to activate. He's going to shoot at that unit. He is in a building, so his armor is going to be a 12 because I'm in his flank. So he gets a +1. I have a 3 firepower +3 because I'm in short range. So I'm at +6 and I need to hit an 11. So I only need a 5 on the die roll. And I barely got it, but I did get it. So I have a 5. Which means that unit is going to take a damage token. And again, I don't look at it until either the unit is activating or I have to, or I'm firing at it or something. So I'm going to take a spent check. Costs 4 action points to do that, and I'm spent. All right. Now it is the German turn to activate. So we don't have anybody in fire distance. We do have close range, or excuse me, we don't have anybody in close combat. We do have somebody in close range, but neither of them can fire because they're outside of their fire arcs. However, they can pivot. So to do the pivot, you pick whichever AI is unhit first. Well, I guess it doesn't specifically say here for a pivot. I'm going to assume that we're going to do this one. So he's going to pivot. Can he have... Yeah, he's going to pivot there. So that was 1 action point for him to make that pivot. And he's spent. I got a little lucky break there. It is my turn to activate again. I'm going to shoot here again. I'm going to use my 4 caps to do it. He's damaged. He's not facing me. So I want to take advantage of that. So I have an overall +6 to my die roll. And I need a 5 or better. And I got an 11. And here's an interesting thing. If you ever hit your target with more than 4 on what you need, you've just wiped them out. This unit's already hit, so I don't need to worry about that. I guess I should look to see what this is because that can affect their armor, other defensive value. So he was panicked, which reduces his defense. And he would take another one, and he'd be suppressed, which doesn't really have any effect, but he is hit. So he is knocked out of the game. His hit tokens go back. he's going to go over here, and I get a victory point, which means I reduce the German victory points. And then I'm going to flip through this deck, and I'm going to discard the next blue card. So that card is out of the game now. And that is the end of my turn. So back to the German activation. It's a green, so he's not going to activate because he is spent. So we don't have anybody within close combat. We don't have anybody in short range combat. We execute counteractions. If no unit just fired, we did have a unit just fired, so that's not going to be the order. AI mortar or infantry gun, we don't have any of those on the field. AI furthest from the lowest defense value unit, which he's in the open. The order would be fire, and neither of these have a target to fire at, so we're going to skip that one. So the largest group of AIs closest to a mission objective or unit will make a low risk move towards. So the largest group of AIs is this group. There's 2, and there aren't 2 anywhere else. And they're going to make a low risk move toward. So we're going to make this move here. And that cost 3 action points. So it was 1 to move, 2 for moving into heavy woods, and then 3 because they moved outside of their front facing. No, they didn't. They didn't move outside of their front facing. So it's only 2 action points. So make a spent check, and it's a 1 or better. So that whole group is spent because they failed that. All right. This unit is going to fire. They're going to fire on this unit. 6 to 14 or 3 to 14, but you're damaged. Yeah, we're attacking here. So I have firepower of 3 plus 3 because they're in my short range, and I need a 14 because they're in heavy woods. So I need an 8 on the dice, and I missed. I'm gonna make a spent check, and I need a 4, and I got a 6, so they're okay. Activate the German. Oh, and it's a command order. So we don't have anybody in close range, but we do have some people in short range. So we've got these 2 units. This unit has the highest firepower, so it's going to fire on this unit. So I have a plus 3. This unit is in the open. I need a 12 to hit him. So right now it's 6, and against the 12, I need a 6 or better. And I got a 7, so that is a hit. And it's on me, so I will look at it to see what happened, and I'm pinned again, which means I cannot move. And that was a command order, so we don't check to see if it's spent. And he's already spent. So it's my turn. I'm going to go ahead and activate this unit again, firing here. I have a total of 6 firepower against the defense of 14, so I need an 8. And I failed again with a 6, so I'm going to take a spent check. Cost 4 to do that, and I am spent. And we're going to see what the AI does. So if AI plus units is 6 or less, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it is 6 or less, so we're going to tick this up. So as the AI action, AI or hit AI closest to a unit auto rallies even if spent. So a hit AI, there's only one hit AI, so that's going to be who activates, and it's going to auto rally even if spent. I don't see it specifically. I'm pretty sure if you auto rally, you don't have to roll. It's just an automatic thing that happens. So we're going to assume that that doesn't happen. And that's the end of his turn. And that is in place of the card, by the way. So my turn to activate. The only option I have is this unit. I can pass. I actually think I'm going to try to rally. So I need a 7 or better to rally this unit. And I succeed, thankfully. So that token goes back in the box. And I got to make a spent check. The action point it costs to make a rally is 5 and a 6, so I'm still good. Back to the German player. If AI plus units is 6 or less, we're going to move the mission tracker 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, bog down. Roll 1d6. The SD KFZ 251 is immobilized until the end of the turn, until the end of the round on a 1 to a 4. Then the AI attempts to execute the current order card as normal. So I'm going to roll a die, and on a 1 through 4, that unit is immobilized for the rest of this turn. It is immobilized, so that's good. It can't make a move, so that gives me a little bit more freedom knowing that it can't chase me down. And then we execute the order as normal. All the German units are spent, so the German player is going to pass. And I'm going to make a move action. I'm going to move on top of this unit. That is 1 AP. And that is going to help me have a little bit better chance of destroying it. And I'm spent. That's the worst. So, I was hoping I'd get a chance to attack it at least once. But that's okay. So, we're going to unspend everybody. We're going to reset the AP. I've lost the guy, so I'm only going to 3 this time. That stays there. And I get to draw another card. Got a command action, take 1 free action of any cost with this unit. That's really nice. And we got to shuffle this deck. Alright, we're going to roll for initiative for the new turn. And again, I'm not going to use any AP for it. I need an 8 or better to go first, otherwise the AI will go first. I got a 9, so I get to go first. Which is very nice. Now I have to decide. Do I attack that, or do I attack that? I think I'm going to go with this one first. So I have firepower of 3 plus 3 because they're within short range. His defense right now is 14. So it's 6 versus a 14. So I need an 8 or better. And I'm going to give myself a +1 to this roll. So now I need a 7 or better to hit him. And I missed. We're going to roll or check to see if I'm spent. Cost 4 AP and I got a 3, so I am spent. And now it's the AI turn. If AI plus units are 4 or less, they're not. So we have, if there's a close combat, we're going to do a fire with a +1 cap, and we do have that. So this half track has a firepower of 3 plus 4 because it's in close combat, +1 because this card gives it a +1. So it's at +8 right now. It needs an 11 to hit me because we're in close combat, and you use the flanking value. So yeah, +8 needs an 11. It's probably going to hit me. He hit me for a lot. And because he's more than 4 over, he's just going to kill this unit. So I actually lose a cap for that. And they get a victory point. And that's unfortunate. But we got to check to see if he's spent. That cost 2 to make that. And he is not spent. It's my turn again. This unit is going to move onto this control hex and make it mine. So I get a victory point for that. And I moved into a building, so that is 2 APs to check and see if he is spent. And he is. Oh, that's bad luck. Back to the AI. If AI plus units is 4 or less, it is not. We have 5 units out on the board. So there's no close combat, but we do have close range fire here. So that is going to be the first. So if they're in close, first they'll rally. He's not hit, so he's going to fire. So he has firepower of 2 to start with, plus 3 because he's in close range. My defense is 14 because I'm in heavy woods. So he's at 5 versus a 14, so he needs a 9 to hit. And I just threw dice across the room. And he misses. So we're going to check to see if he's spent. That costs 3 AP, and he is spent. It's my turn. I don't have any I could make a move, but the only place I can move is out in the open. So yeah, I'm going to pass because I have no actions to take. The AI turn. If AI plus units is 4 or less, we have more than 4. There is no close combat, but there is close range fire. So same thing. Oh no, he's spent, so it's not going to happen. We're going to execute counteractions. So if no AI unit, or if no unit just fired, the AI closest to a spent unit will move towards. So both of these are the same distance away on a move. The lowest movement cost, they're tied. So we'll randomly pick which one of these units is going to move toward. Actually, he has to turn. Now we can move there. Yeah, we're going to randomly choose. So 1, 2, or 3, 4, 5, or 6. It is going to be this guy. He is going to move here. So that is 1 AP to check for his spent. And 2 or better, so he is fine. It is my turn again. I'm going to pass. Back to the AI. Oh, I have these these cards. I should use that. Anyway. If AI plus units is less than 6, which we are, we're at 5 units, we're going to pop the turn marker 2. So the AI performs 2 actions in a row, drawing a new order card for the second action. Only then is it the player's turn. Well, that's unfortunate. So this card will be the first action. There is no close range, but we do have short range. So it's going to be this one because that guy's spent. So he's going to fire here. We have a 3 for his firepower, plus 3 because he's shooting at close range. So that takes it to a 6. He's going to be attacking a 12, 13 because I'm in a building. And wood buildings only give you a +1, I believe. Yes, +1 defense modifier. So I have a 13. He is +6. So he's going to need a 7 or better to hit me. And he does. So I got to draw a damage token. And I'm penned, which means it can't move. We're going to take a spend check for him. It was 2 action points. And 1 or better, so he is spent. So now we're going to take their second turn because of the mission track event. So there's nobody within close combat. There's nobody in close range. Execute counteractions. If no unit just fired, which I didn't, then the AI closest to a unit is a move toward. This is the only guy that's not spent, so he is going to make a move toward action. And move there. It's my turn. I will pass because I have nothing to do. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to play this action card. So this action card, take 1 free action of any cost with any unit. So I'm going to order this unit to fire on this guy that just stepped out into the open. So I'm firepower 3, +3 against that unit. His defense is 12. I'm going to go ahead and use my last AP because I have nothing better to do with it. So I have a +7 against his 12, so I need a 5 to hit him. And I barely did hit him. We'll draw a chit for him. And now it's the AI's turn to activate. So there's no close combat. Oh, I guess if AI plus units is less than 24, we're going to count up 1 on the mission tracker. There's no close combat. We do have somebody within close range combat, so we have to flip this to see he can still do that. So he's cowering. So he can still fire though. So no effect to his firepower. So he's going to fire me. I have a 14 defense, and he has a 2 firepower plus 3 because he is within short range. So 5 versus my 14. He needs a 9 to hit. And he got an 8, which misses. We're going to make a spent check for him. And because of that marker on him, the hit marker, it cost 5 AP for him to make that. So his spent check is going to be on a 5. And he passes with a 6. It's my turn to activate. I'm going to pass. And then the AI will activate. If AI plus units is 10 or less, then +1 to the turn tracker. So we are, and we got Zeal. The player immediately receives 2 extra cap for this current round only. Well, and then the AI attempts to execute the current order as normal. Maybe I can make or do something useful with that. I'm not sure what, but we'll see. All right, well, we don't have any close combat. We do have close range. So in this card, if you're in close range, first thing you're going to do is attempt to rally. He is hit, so he is going to try to rally. And on the card here, or on the token, you can see it has R is 8 or better. So for him to rally, he needs to roll 8 or better on the dice. And he does not, so he is still hit. And that is his activation. His AP, or his spent check, he spent 5 AP to do that, and that puts him as spent. It's my turn. I have 2 activation points. I can move with those 2 activation points, but I'm not sure I want to. Would get me out of line of fire of one of these guys. You know what the hey. I'm gonna move there. Which is 1 AP. And he's already spent, so I don't need to do anything. Oof. So this is a command card, so even spent units can make use of it. So there's no close combat. We do have close range. So this unit is in close range of that unit. This unit is also in close range of that unit. So for that, first priority is an unhit. So this unit is going to be the one to activate. It's going to fire here. So he has a firepower of 3 plus 3 because he's in close range. I'm in a building, so my defense is 13. So 6 versus the 13. He's going to need a 7 or better to hit me. And he got a 5, so he misses. There is no spent because he's already spent. And it's my turn to activate again. I'm going to use another AP to move this guy here. Maybe I'll get an opportunity in next turn and I'll have a flank shot on this guy before he gets to go. It's the AI's turn again. We don't have any unactivated or unspent units, so this is a green card, so they can't do anything. So the AI is going to pass. I'm also going to pass, which that brings the turn to the end. So I'm going to flip everybody to their unspent sides. We're going going to shuffle this deck. All right, and we move my AP back up. I only get 2 because I've lost 2 units. Lose 1 for each unit you've lost. So we're gonna roll for initiative here. I'm gonna use 1 AP, so I need a 7 or better to get the first turn. And I did. Didn't even need to spend the AP, but it's worth it. So I get to go first. I'm gonna go ahead and fire on. Oh, I gotta draw one of these cards too. Take a free action. That'll be helpful. But first off, I'm gonna fire on this unit. He is in the open, and I am firing on his flank at close range. So I have a total of +6. His defense, though, is boosted because of that cowering. So his flank is a defense 12 right now. So I have a 6 versus his 12, so I need a 6 or better on the dice. And I barely got it. So that's going to do another hit to him, which normally would knock him out. Put his token back. We're going to draw from the deck until we find a blue card and discard it. There we go. And now I need to make a spent check, and it cost 4 action points to make that attack. And I got the check mark, so I get to automatically pass. And now it's the AI's turn. If AI plus units is 4 or less, then +2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I also got the victory point for killing him there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn's going to bump 2, and that is the end of the mission. I don't know if we finished playing this card or not. Let me take a peek. The mission ends immediately when the mission track marker advances to or passes the last space on the mission track. So the mission is going to end immediately. I luckily got that last kill right there on the right before the game ended, so I ended up winning with 1 victory point to my advantage. So lucky me. That scenario didn't start out looking real good for the Russian players. I thought we were going to lose that one, but we managed to pull it out just barely. One thing with the action cards, the thing with them, you go down from top to bottom and you go left to right. So as each thing, you read it and you do whatever you can based on the situation on the board. Some of them don't always make sense. So I may not have done all of them exactly 100% correct. I am of the opinion that I want the game to move forward. I don't want to sit here for 20 minutes trying to figure out which unit goes. Most of the time it makes sense. A couple times I rolled randomly. There is a flowchart that's provided. You can get the updated version of this from the Academy Games website. It's very useful, but at the same time, I don't need to go through 15 different steps all the time to look at different stuff. I'm playing this for fun. There's no money on the line or anything, so obviously I don't want to play it incorrectly, but at the same time, there's a certain amount of give and take that you can use when you're playing this, that you don't have to have everything 100% spot on. Anyway, I enjoyed this game. I look forward to playing through more of them. The next mission is what we'll be playing, solo mission 2, which is solo mission 2, Tank Hunt, which is very challenging. I've never beat that scenario. Maybe I will when I play it through for this channel, but we'll see. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this and all the different projects that I work on, you can subscribe to my channel. And if you have any comments, questions, if you saw any rules that I got wrong or choices that I made that were just ridiculous, you can go ahead and put those in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.